Thank you, Juha, for introduction. So as far as you know, my name is basically Wojciech, but it is pretty problematic, so feel free to say Wojtek. It is also fine. And Victor was talking more about past experiences and projects. I will be more talking about current but modern projects and about the future. So title is Atlassian System of Work, from vision to everyday practice. And just a quick organizational note, if you have any questions, feel free to raise a hand, interrupt me. For me, like, to be honest, I more appreciate like questions during the presentation. If something is not clear, unclear, just let me know. Okay, so just a few words about me. 11 years with Atlassian tools. Basically, I have experience also with like more technical areas like Linux databases, like more business frameworks like IT service management, Scrum or something like that, but it is all like focused on Atlassian, just to deliver better Atlassian solutions, yeah? A lot of roles, architect, trainer, product owner, consultant, and I have like title Atlassian Certified Expert. Basically, it means that I passed few Atlassian certs. And I'm also Atlassian champion, what means that I host events in Wrocław, in Poland, in collaboration with Atlassian to exchange knowledge, basically. So a little bit like today. Okay, agenda is like, as I mentioned, firstly, we want to like introduce System of Work. What is it? Companies, so real examples from the market, that it is not only theory or marketing. Then we jump into AI. Of course, AI is everywhere, will be also part of this presentation. And how to change our everyday work, how to adapt to all these things. So like two sections. First is about System of Work, so this level 4 mentioned by Victor. Second is about AI and future, basically, of Atlassian. So I know that you heard about System of Work because we had a few discussions about that, but did you know, for example, this diagram from Atlassian with all collections? Are you familiar with that? Not really, yes. So like 50-50, I feel. So we will be, of course, talking about that. It is exactly about this level 4 from Victor's presentation. So firstly, again, some questions. If I would ask you, like, for example, are our goals on track? How are we releasing on the production? When are we going to finish the project? If I would ask these questions, then usually standard approach is that you have to find this information. You have to organize a meeting. You have to visit the tools. You have to aggregate data in like your some kind of system in your company. So you just need to get this data. It is not like straightforward. By the way, I heard pretty nice quotation from IT manager, probably the biggest e-commerce company in Poland, that integration is the most expensive word in IT. If you need to combine all this information, exchange these things, maintain all these things, it is pretty problematic. So I saw a lot of companies and how they are organized. And basically, when I joined IT, for me, it was even hard to believe, like, what the hell? Like, it is not possible like to work like that. You have to really, you have huge number of tools. I started with pretty big company. You have to aggregate this data, follow processes in different places, etc. So it is more like a little bit mess. Usually, unfortunately, it is the truth. So basically, answer from System of Work from Atlassian should be, okay, we have all these questions. We don't need to organize the meeting. We don't need to talk with John. We don't need to calculate it in Excel. It should be, let me just check it. Let's visit the tool and check where we are, yeah? It is as simple as that. Or, of course, if you have everything pretty well organized, let me ask AI about it, yeah? Because it is why we have these all AI features, just to get answers straight away. Okay, so it is basically assumption of System of Work, like make it a little bit, for me, it's always, I have in mind word coherent. This work should be more coherent. So let's jump into this diagram, which I mentioned from Atlassian. So let's start from this place. Here we have some kind of icons. It is Jira Service Management, Assets, Jira, and Confluence. So usually Atlassian There are the most popular apps from Atlassian. And like 10 years ago, Atlassian said, yeah, you have tools, have fun, do whatever you want, basically. Configure it, go with workflow, whatever, basically. Just have fun. Now, they are trying to do some kind of shift. So you don't have tools, you have collections. It is not just a configuration. It is about some kind of approach. So if you buy service collection, then you have all tools to deliver support portals and things like that. If you buy teamwork collection, it is for your teams like to track, to control work. So they are trying to move from this technical level into this like business level to address real business needs, real business problems. And basically, one more comment, this teamwork collection basically is core for everything. It is why it is in the middle. Basically, for me, it is hard to even imagine Atlassian environment without Jira, for example. Without Confluence, it is possible. Without Jira, hard to believe. So it is basically core for everything. And pretty interesting thing is also that it depends on case. You have to calculate it, of course. But basically, if you have the same number of users, like Jira and Confluence, the same people use these tools. So if you buy collection instead of Jira and Confluence, then you have like Loom for free, let's say. So pricing is like for 2 tools, you have entire collection with 3 tools. So pricing is not like really bad, but of course it depends on case, on calculations. Usually we go with some kind of Excel just to find the best path and approach to licenses. But okay, we have still missing parts of this diagram. So of course we have software collection. It is just for developers. Tools like Bitbucket, Git repositories, pipelines connected with that, Compass tool like to aggregate all information useful for developers or relations between systems, functional areas, and things like that. So Bitbucket, pipelines, and new tool which is called developer experience, just to measure things, just to measure adoption. So measure your code basically and check how things are going. Product teams, now it is about only Jira product discovery. So before backlog, there is something. We should know where we should focus our activities. So basically, it is about product discovery, Jira product discovery, and there is announced new product because it is not really collection. Let's agree it is one product, but they announced that there will be another product called feedback to aggregate a lot of information from the market and from our customers, and again, where we should focus our works. And last one is about strategy. Yeah?
I wanted to ask about this feedback.
Yeah?
Do you know what's the difference with product discovery? Because they already had this kind of tool where you can bring feedback from your customer portals or Slack messages or Confluence or whatever in one place with even rating and such. What would be the difference?
I believe that more like aggregated, a little bit BI, business intelligence, to aggregate this data, because in the product discovery, you don't have all these functionalities to aggregate this data. Feedback should be like center of every feedback, so dedicated tool. It is like a little bit like you have the default projects functionality, and you have focus, which is pretty wide with a lot of fancy functionalities. Yes, upper level for that, but it is announced, it is not on the production, so we have to wait a little bit to know all these things, but this is what I feel about that.
About the UX, it's supposed to be a tool which helps you to measure effectiveness of your AI tools?
Also, it is part of it, but also like you can implement a lot of things if you like want to measure your code, for example. Test coverage, you can even get data there and display it or something like that. So every like measurements connected with the code. Oh, sorry. Let me just put it here. And strategy collection, it is everything above the epic. Because let's agree, usually we have some kind of strategic goals, but it is not really connected, so here we have focus. I really enjoy this product, to be honest. Also, new functionality, funds, which is going to manage financial data. Talent, product to assign right people to right projects with right skills. It is not about capacity planning. It is just about finding people development more tool and assigning right projects. And Jira Align is going to be dead. Sorry, but it is the truth. Focus is going to replace Align. It is like pretty old tool, not Atlassian, not really successfully like developed that into System of Work, so it is still part of it, but not the most crucial. Focus is more important. But it is still not the end. So we have in the middle of every, yeah?
Did I miss it, or where's goals?
It will be here.
Okay.
So, in the middle of everything is AI. I will be talking about AI a little bit later, but it is pretty important. Atlassian, for me, is going to not be like only system of work and tools. Atlassian is trying to be like AI-driven company, deliver like be part of all these AI transformations. And so it is why we have Rovo in the center of everything, but we will be talking about that a little bit later. And of course, we have some kind of predefined AI agents for that, and we have also skills connected with that. Basically, it's pretty obvious that Rovo should be able to do more, for example, with assets, so you have more skills for your AI. So pretty obvious. And then we have this part. So it is about cross-app functionalities. It is about, for example, teams, because you want to, if you have teams in your organization, probably you have, then you want to use this team here, 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 and here. For example, assign commit to a team, or assign incident, or some kind of business area to a team. So we have some kind of cross-app functionalities. It is about teams. Pretty interesting is that here you can also find assets. And they moved assets from Jira Service Management into these platform apps because, you need these assets. Like, for example, CMDB is a great example. You need information from CMDB basically everywhere. Projects, goals, again, if you have goal, a lot of tools can realize the same goals. Yeah, a lot of apps, a lot of collections. Also, for me, part of this is Dia Browser, Atlassian acquired company called the Browser Company from New York. Basically, I don't want to say too many words about Jira, but try it if you can, because it is only for macOS now. But basically, it is totally great, and I use it not because I am part of the ecosystem, because I really enjoy it. And last one is about this teamwork graph. And for me, it is probably the most underrated place of all of these things, because just to give you an example, you can have feeling that, okay, we have to buy 20 tools and pay huge number of dollars, basically. But it is not really true. For example, for some cases, if you want to replace Bitbucket, Atlassian Bitbucket is not the best, not the most popular solution in the market. So if you want to use GitLab, then yes, you can do it. And you have a lot of native connectors. It is like first, let's say, branch of Teamwork Graph. So for example, you can integrate Jira. You have native connectors from Jira to GitLab, and you are able to aggregate this data from different tools. So Atlassian is trying not to build closed environment where you use only Atlassian tools. Atlassian is more trying to build some kind of operating system, center of work, but which you can integrate with a lot of places from your organization. So it was example from GitLab, maybe another example from ServiceNow. You are able to integrate ServiceNow, for example, with assets. Also, you have from automation rules some kind of dedicated rules to connect information from ServiceNow. And this last pretty important part, that it is also about AI, so MCP servers. You are able to use ChatGPT, Gemini, for example. From ChatGPT, you are able to create tasks in Jira. So you don't have to, again, go with Rovo or something like that, you can use other tools. At the same time, you have a lot of connectors from Rovo to different places, because again, Atlassian goal is to be center of work. But if you use SharePoint, let's get this data from SharePoint and use it Jira. If you use Google Workspace, the same. So they are just pretty open, yeah?
Can you go back to the previous?
Yes?
Where does it fit like a Jira advanced roadmaps here?
Basically, it is part of Jira. So, it is just functionality component of the app.
So in, for example, this strategy collection which is fitting about, for example, epics.
Yes.
Product discoveries. So that can also connect these two items? Or?
Basically, here you have, you are more focused on tracking goals. You have aggregated data, but you don't have such fancy roadmaps. So basically, I believe that in the future you will have it, but Focus is still pretty new product, like 1 year old or something like that. So I expect that roadmaps will be also here, but at the moment it is still part of Jira. But Focus is like really dynamic product. For example, 1 month ago they announced this financial part, so Focus funds. So I expect that it will be there. So yeah, and a lot of Rovo connectors to aggregate all this data. So they are building some kind of, for me, it is operating system for your work, for your tasks. But Victor said about that, and I fully agree, tools will not gonna solve the problem. It is still about the business approach. Tools are fine, tools are fancy, they are able to deliver great things, but still it is about processes, still about culture, etc. So Atlassian, and it is also part of this shift, they are talking like how you can utilize these tools. I didn't want to put all these practices here, but if you Google or chat Atlassian System of Work practices, then you can find all guidelines how you can utilize this tool in your organization in the best possible way. So it is also this shift that it is not about toys which you can use, it is all about guidelines how you can use it. So it is about this shift. Basically, change should be from this into this one. And as you can see, I put here icons from different systems because it is not only about Atlassian. If you have Jenkins, which is also pretty popular, and basically whatever, then you can you can just integrate it pretty natively without huge effort, without maintenance. And I would add one more thing here because adoption is a key, and it is why, again, why we prepared this ebook, where you can find practices, but it is topic for another presentation, how to adapt all these tools, how to do it in the best possible way. So ebook is like something which you just should visit and check. And if you look at the, for example, DevOps model, we have covered basically almost everything. Let's start maybe from plan. So we have Jira Product Discovery, we have Jira, of course, for work planning. We have code, so like Bitbucket, Rovo Dev, which is able to write the code, build, Bitbucket pipelines, test, and this is the gap, basically, because we don't have test management for Atlassian. Probably you know about that. From Atlassian, we have the most popular is probably X-Ray, but you have also Zephyr and some other apps. I don't have any information or data that like they will gonna implement something, but probably if they want to have everything in the ecosystem, we can expect some kind of test management from Atlassian.
Well, our company is using X-Ray for test
Yeah.
management. So is this the part of the Jira or not? I'm not aware of.
It is a marketplace app. So it is extra paid, but it is not from Atlassian, it's from vendor. So at the moment we don't have anything related with test management from Atlassian. Maybe in the future I don't have any data, as I said, but probably we should have it. Again, releases. Again, Bitbucket pipelines with deploy, operate. We have operations entire module for Jira service management. We can aggregate logs, do on-calls, and things like that. It is all Ops.Genie functionalities. Monitor, for example, status page, and more tools connected with that. So basically, all these tools cover DevOps practices, DevOps approach. Of course, DevOps is also related with a lot of agile frameworks, Scrum, and things like that. So it is more about culture than, yeah, DevOps is more about culture, which is, I believe, close to Atlassian approach. So, but let's jump into real examples. So let's imagine that we have Jira Service Management and ITSM processes. And if I would ask you who is on the third line of support, like according to ITSM processes, do you know who usually is there? Role.
That's senior technical support?
Yeah, this one. Developers. Usually it is about developers. So, default approach is put developers in Jira Service Management. It depends because you have, again, it is about framework, so it is not like straightforward, but basically when I saw a lot of implementations, usually it is about developers because we don't have, if you develop products, it is pretty crucial here.
I'm trying to remember my ITIL certification. I'm confused. Okay.
Yeah, let's leave it. So yeah, default approach can be put developers in Jira Service Management. But we want to do this in a little bit more intelligent way. We don't want to combine two workspaces. They need to visit one or another place. So if you want to do this in a little bit more intelligent way, then we have to ask, where do developers work? Yeah. If it is some kind of separated tool, always we can integrate it, or custom tool. So again, pretty about all these connections which I showed on the diagram, we can just integrate it, yeah? But if we are going with entire system of work, then it is about these benefits of use more of apps. Just connect these workspaces. Basically, we have dedicated role, contributor. You can use it without licenses, so developers can just display on board tasks from Jira Service Management, put it on Scrum backlog or something like that, and everything will be like pretty straightforward and simple. So this is just one example how you can combine these tools. And we just use two collections. Let's go to another example. I have the statistic, and it is statistic from Atlassian, but I believe that you can still like compare it with your own experiences. So it means we have information there that 80% of senior leaders describe their strategic priorities as clear or very clear. Pretty good statistic, yeah? Pretty good results. But if we jump to another slide, basically it is pretty long, but basically it means that we have strategic goals, but we don't have like clear execution of these goals. We don't have linked work tasks with these strategic goals, yeah? So it is about, just example, probably about some kind of Excel where you have goals, KPIs and things like that. But if you want to check progress of these goals, where we are, then you have to, again, organize meeting or visit different tool, aggregate data. This is the problem which Atlassian is trying to address. And basically, if we go with two collections, teamwork collection, strategy collection, then we focus, maybe quality is not the best, but basically you have clear information about your focus areas, about your priorities, number of tasks, where are the blockers, what is the critical path, and things like that. So again, it is pretty straightforward that work is linked and you don't need to organize a meeting or get a lot of data to check where basically we are. And it is about pretty good definition of the system of work. Everything is a little bit connected. If we go to another example, then it is about software collection. Of course, we are talking about developers. For example, in Jira, we want to display information about releases for our systems, for our environments. So you have clear information about last implementations. For example, deployment frequency. It is pretty also important part of DevOps. If we add here, for example, Jira Service Management, then we can easily, for example, link commit which was done to the production with the incident. So you have clear, fast information that this incident can be connected with this last commit. So again, you don't need to find data. Everything is pretty clear. And yeah, let's go to the a little bit more deeper. I wanted to describe Cisco case. Maybe you heard about that. But they had also the same problem. Basically, everything started from this one. So they had corporate mandate to exit Rally, different tool like Agile at Scale enterprise tool. And there was some kind of great leader called Jason Andrews. I'm not sure about pronunciation. And he said that it is great opportunity to look at everything we did and understand, is this the best possible way to drive the right outcome for the business. So they wanted to not only change the tools, check approach and things like that. And of course, they have a lot of problems because they have like a lot of instances, no shared work plan, no single roadmaps, a lot of engineers losing hours a week to tooling friction, so they just need to move data from one place to another, link it, aggregate it, and things like that. And they define something what is called 4S's. So they had silos with different tools, different involved teams without coherent approach. Slow, they had problems. It is about this one. They were not able to deliver, they were not able to rise a priority even as the biggest one and to deliver something quickly. So they were slow. Simplify, like everything was just too complex, and scale. It was costly to add next products, problematic to add more teams. It was just a problem to scale their company. So they realized that, and they wanted to talk with Atlassian, and they defined some kind of goals, what they wanted to achieve. One platform, one data model, one way of working, eliminate these 4S's, single source of truth, and pretty simple things. I don't want to go through all these points. You can expect that it is, let's do this more global and pretty simple. So it is basically about that. And from my end, it was like as simple as that. They don't want to, go to the moon. They want to have same processes. They want to have same workflows, same language, because like if you talk with someone in the office, you want to talk about the same things. Not this is from Jenkins, this is from Bitbucket, this is from Jira, and or I know GitLab, and you have like different dictionaries. So they have they also define these things as a part of these projects. And I don't want to like describe entire process because it is not like about 2 weeks and let's make everything simple as you can expect. It was pretty big project, but they did it. We have a lot of statistics for that. You can if you Google again or chat Cisco case, then you will be able to find all this information, a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of materials from Atlassian and things like that. Basically, they did it, and they are really happy about that. If you jump into System of Work principles, all teams align work to goals, plan and track work, unleash collective knowledge. This is about principles. Basically, faster as a result, we have faster time to value, engaged teams, higher return of investment, and it is also what Cisco showed. Okay, it is about Atlassian System of Work and those modern projects connected with Atlassian. And just to be clear, now it is end of this present, what is going on the market. Let's jump into future and the vision. And of course, let's talk about AI. And Victor said about that AI without context, without information is not really meaningful for the organization. I have few pictures, few quotations from the market leaders, and I wanted to start with that. You can find a lot of pictures like that. If you had bad data, poor data, and you put artificial intelligence, it means that you have still some kind of broken automation. If we add generative AI, it is still broken, but a little bit more fancy. If we put agentic AI, then you have, again, a lot of broken things. And it is about leaders' voices. It is not about my opinion. I am specialized in Atlassian. I am trying to follow all these things connected with AI. But at the same time, I want to present you the topic. And I even heard information, and basically I agree with that, that AI race is not really about implementation of all these tools and things like that, but it is more about clean your data, clean source of information for the AI. And basically I agree with that, Victor also said about that if you want to use AI, you have to have just clean data. Different examples from the market. It is about AI adoption in organization. That usually it is about we want to have tools, we want to run AI pilots, build AI agents, but basically this is the fastest. Have redesigned the organization to use AI. They have scaled agile, scaled approach to AI things. And it is some kind of introduction, of course, to Atlassian related topics. And the same is like with vibe coding. We also spoke about that before the event. That, usually vibe coding is about prompt and pray that everything will be fine, not, security issues, so all endpoints will be fine, etc. But basically, it should be according to the flow. We should have structured approach, new approach. So it is not really about I can vibe code everything. It is more about we just need to redesign our processes, maybe our organization, to deliver things faster, to deliver better things, not about only prompts. Yeah. So if we jump into Atlassian, one of the most important keynote during the last Atlassian event from the CAO Mike was not about Jira, Confluence, or Jira Service Management, or whatever. All these things, these tools were moved and placed as a context. It is just source of information for AI. Atlassian is trying to follow all these AI things. So acceleration is this context, of course, connected with all these Atlassian and not only Atlassian tools, multiplies AI. So it is a definition of acceleration, AI acceleration from Atlassian. I have even a pretty nice graphic picture for that. They compared this to the engine. So you have engine, and of course it is AI, but engine cannot work without fuel. So all this data, all these fuels or history, team context, goals, it is fuel for your engine. So it is about clean this data, because firstly we have to have clean processes and data just to manage AI better, to deliver better things. And Atlassian is familiar with that. And basically it is also about this last piece I wanted to describe, so the middle of everything, so this Rovo. Rovo, as every different AI, Rovo needs to have clear data from a lot of tools. It is about teamwork graph, from Atlassian tools, etc. So Atlassian wants to be like center of work, but not only related with Atlassian. And pretty maybe interesting fact for you can be that you can buy Rovo without Atlassian products. So Atlassian is not going to be center of Rovo is not going to be center of Atlassian. Rovo is going to be different AI solution. If you want, you can even buy it as a separated product, connect with a lot of things. So, and Rovo itself is not only, like, just to be clear, it's not about dedicate Atlassian large language models and things like that. It is about GPT, Claude, Gemini. So based on prompts, they decide where they want to find the solution. So maybe the best will be OpenAI, maybe the best will be Claude. We have also this less popular like Maxtral, like Llama, maybe less popular, really popular, but not the most popular words like in the market. This is what I wanted to say. And in the enterprise, you are even able to use only Atlassian local LLMs, so not shared data with all these vendors, so only Atlassian local solutions, but it is dedicated for enterprises. So it is about Atlassian approach, Atlassian goal, where they want to go with all these changes in the market. So as I said, of course, with this Rovo, it is not, as I mentioned, it is not about LLM. It is more about, again, a lot of assistants which can help you, a lot of agents. So you can, like, as you can see, prepare team recap. You can generate a lot of tasks, plan your project with Rovo, organize tickets, translate things. So you have dedicated agents which can just help you to manage work better. And just check different LLMs, a lot of connectors, you know about that, possibility to use without Atlassian, I mentioned that. And this is pretty interesting. Usually our AIs, probably all of you use something, but it is not part of your workflow. It is, okay, I need something, so I am going to ChatGPT or whatever and check data. Here we can put it as a part of the workflow. So for example, let's review this ticket after when it is done. So let's get this data from ticket, maybe from Confluence, whatever, and put the result of the review in the comment without any action, without any mouse clicks, etc., as a part of the workflow. And now you're even able to, it is rolling out, so I am not sure that all of you, you are able to assign agents to tasks just to, because again, like review task or generate something, etc., you are able to assign issue, task, work item, just to be specific, to the Rovo agent. So yeah. This is the approach, and if we jump into focus, I described this problem with 80% of companies that they have clear goals, but usually they don't have execution of these goals. If we have focus and we have everything linked, then it is just, again, about one click. You can summarize this focus area, where we are, where are problems, potential problems, what we should monitor. So this AI is basically part of this ecosystem, and if it is the probably great example, if we have data, it is about one click. You have all this data, so one click, and you can just check things. You don't need to organize a meeting, aggregate a lot of data. So I said that it is the vision. But according to Gartner reports, here it is, of course, I chose this one where Atlassian is, the best of the best. But basically, if you check Gartner reports, IT service management or agile or whatever, basically Atlassian usually, is here. So it means that they have the vision, pretty good one, and at the same time, they are able to execute this vision. I believe that, I am presenting, as I mentioned, something new, something probably maybe interesting, but I really believe that it can be the future, and according to Gartner report, it could be the future. So you ask about timeline and process for implementation of system of work. I have some kind of key points connected with approach to this topic. So basically, I believe that it is part of all transformation projects, great analysis, just to define the source of information, number of tools, what we want to change, and things like that. Then define solution concept. So destination solution, but on the paper, confirm it with the stakeholders, with people from your company, consult it, as I mentioned, then move it from the paper into the environment. Could be sandbox, could be dedicated environment. Basically, it depends on the case. Feedback, confirm and continuous improvements, get approvals, and then we have step-by-step migration, so small parts. It is like, I believe, based on my experience, the best approach to like migration. So not to, Atlassian is also talking a lot of things about lift and shift. Just take your tools to the cloud. I'm not really sure about that, to be honest. I'm not a fan because in the cloud now we have really huge number of great things. So maybe it is like Cisco, great moment to think about it, how we can achieve things better and go with this process. So let's firstly define the destination state and then try to migrate to it. But again, it is connected with some kind of adoption because it means more changes for users and it is problematic. And I also had some kind of ideas connected with that because people have, let's agree, limited capacity to adopt to all these changes. It is not possible to just put people there. And basically, it is why we define all these 5 practices. We didn't like put it as a part of this this Atlassian Breakfast because it is, again, we can have another two hours workshop about practices. So I believe that in the ebook, you can find useful information to like adapt. So this system of work is about tools, about culture, about processes, but also about adaptation. Yeah, and that's all what I prepared. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.